Over the last few months, I've done hundreds, yes, hundreds of Thrill of the Fight 2 ranked matches, custom matches, the first version of the game, all the way to what it is today. And whenever you combine that with 15 years of combative sports experience, you start to learn a little bit of things. Not only about boxing itself, but about VR boxing, which is a totally new sport. We are right now setting the foundation for this and learning it as it's all being released. And if you're seeing this and you have no idea about VR boxing or what Thrill of the Fight 2 is, VR boxing is virtual reality boxing. Thrill of the Fight 2 is a video game that you can get for only $10, by the way. It's a video game, but really it's a simulator. I can throw on my Meta Quest 3, I can meet up with someone and spawn them in my garage and have a live sparring match with a virtual partner, which is live. He's in his space at his house or wherever he is, and I'm in my space, and we're boxing virtually. And in this video, we're gonna go over what I think are 10 things that can be helping you on Thrill of the Fight 2 if you're new, brand new, experienced, whatever it is. Things that even help me on a daily basis, but I still have to practice. Number one, we've gone through it since the beginning of time. It's not 110% that wins. 110% gets you good cardio. For me personally, it works on my traps and my shoulders. It's wonderful. My cardio's through the roof. But 110% cardio and 110% power and speed doesn't necessarily mean 110% power and speed inside of the game. There are VR limitations, so tracking is an issue. Say if your lighting isn't very good in the room and you move too quick and the controller gets lost for a second, that may happen more than you would like if you're moving a little bit too quick, or the lighting in the room isn't too well, or the battery in the controller is a little too low, or whatever the case may be. So what we've learned throughout this time is that 60 to 80% seems to be a sweet spot. I can still get stuns, I can still get knockdowns, and I can still kind of get a good pace here where I'm not really throwing at 100%, but at least, I can throw at a decent pace. This one is a big one. I'm not saying styles don't exist and everyone punches differently, I understand that. But don't sacrifice your technique or lack of technique for just trying to deliver force. If you're very inexperienced, or if you just look at a street fight, it's typically someone trying to hit as hard as they can and as often as they can, and that's like the human reaction. So let's slow things down. Use this as an example. If I throw my jab cross hook, I don't necessarily have to go on every single exchange. I could be here and use my jab as a measuring jab, cross hook. I can change the timing and rhythm to account for that lack of speed or power. I'm not able to actually transfer in the VR world. Number three, as fun as it is, do not sit there and exchange. Just sit there in one spot, unless you're stationary, I guess. But even then, I can kind of sit here and circle, not auto turn. Look at me in my eyes. Stop using it, okay? Just move your legs. Slowly. It sucks. You don't have a lot of space. I'm obviously kidding, kind of, so it's fine. So number three is footwork. Make sure whenever you're here, you're not only just moving in and then moving out, but I'm circling my opponent. If my opponent starts to circle me, I can start to think I need to cut them off. I'm not just gonna allow him to circle and then flow with him. If he's gonna come this way, expecting me to circle, whenever my opponent, starts to circle and starts to bait me to go this way, maybe I circle to the outside of him and cutting him off. So while you go this way, I'm cutting this way, and I'm here, I'm meeting him in the center, meeting him to fight. So as fun as sitting in the middle and slugging it out is, use your footwork. Number four, we're all aware of exploits. I'm gonna sneak this gem at number four. Don't even think about the exploits. Work on your boxing, get better at boxing, find partners that are on the same wavelength as you. You're both gonna get better at boxing because you're both practicing boxing, not whatever game mechanics you think are gonna deliver the most force. So number four, practice your boxing. Don't think about how can I cheat this? Can I make myself taller? Can I make my arms longer? Can I use a fucking mop and swing it around my garage like a lightsaber just to deliver 4 more points of damage? Box and get better at boxing. Number four is stamina management. You know the kind of shape that you're in. You know if you can put your foot on the gas and stay that way for 3 rounds, 2 rounds, 12 rounds, 100 rounds, or whatever it is. You know where your cardio is, and then you know where you want to take it. So we gotta flirt with that. So if I'm, let's say, a 3 out of 10 right now with cardio, but I want to eventually get to a 5 and eventually a 10, right? But we're not going to get there in one step. So 5's next. So I want to get to a 5. I need to be flirting with 4. And I'm not going to get to 5 and burn myself out for a minute and all right, I was 5 for 30 seconds. That was great. you know? So I'm gonna flirt with 4. And when I get to 4, I'm gonna start flirting with 5. And when I get comfortable with that gray area between it, that flirting, then I'm gonna cut it and I'm fully 5 now. And then flirt with 6 and so on. So cardio management, and that goes for your matches too. I'm not gonna be a 10 out of 10 for a round and do 2 out of 10 for 2 rounds. Make sure to manage your cardio. Be realistic. Don't just sit there and swing until you're tired and then just deal with being tired and still swing. Your technique is gonna go out the window. You're probably gonna get hit more often, which means lose more often. Don't do that. Cardio management. Number 6 is use your defense to take a breather and not just shell up in a ball and hopefully nothing lands too hard so you can survive and breathe. Your defense is gonna be your footwork also. So yes, you can shell up and catch and play this game with a little bit of movement, but even if then, like my muscle memory told me not to sit here and just catch here, my muscle memory told me to move my head also while I'm catching. So your defense can be a reset button for your cardio, but also just for the overall vibe. Maybe you're like, fuck, I gotta shake this feeling. So I'm sitting here, big deep breath. I'm here using my defense. He doesn't know I'm taking this little breather and really thinking it through. Okay, this guy looks like he's right-handed. Right, he's moving a lot to his right, which is the power hand for him. That may be a good thing. Or maybe if I'm pushed forward, oh, look at that, he backed away when I pushed forward. All right, so I gotta cover ground a little bit. So I gotta cover ground a little bit faster than this. Okay, so I can't just step forward because he backs away. So maybe I use my infamous cross step through to cover the ground. All right, I step forward, he moves back, he moves too quick. I'll double jab, evade it, I'll throw the cross to cover the ground, and then I'll land. My point is that all that was being thought about while I was recovering. Here, recover, watching. He doesn't know, I look active. Maybe I just pump a double jab just to show him there's something alive there. And I sit there and recover. Your defense is a chance to reset. And that ironically flows into the opposite. Let's start reading my opponent for number 7. So just like what I was doing in number 6, where I'm sitting here watching, but I was using it to take a breather, I'm gonna use that same mentality, but offensively. So I'm gonna use that offensively. Use the regular movements of my opponent to find patterns and then capitalize. So like number 6, what the example was, every time I move forward, he moves backwards perfectly instead of angling. So I did that once, I move forward, he goes backwards perfectly again. Nice, that's 2. Okay, maybe it was a coincidence, let's go 3. I'm stepping forward, maybe I double pump the jab like I said, goes straight backwards again, great. 3 times, it's not a coincidence, that's a pattern on his behalf. So now that's what allowed me to double jab, shoot the cross through, cover the ground when he was going backwards. Now he's gonna circle. Let's hope he circles towards this bad boy, because I'll throw that big right hand as he starts to circle. And if you notice, if he circles towards your left, my left in this situation, or your backhand, depending on what side you started in, if he circles to my left, where that double jab comes and that step through goes, he's running into that. So most guys circle away. This guy. Number 8 is a short and sweet one. Rounds are not won by just arm-flailing chaos. They're won by control. Control is not necessarily I am dominating the fight. Control is, ironically enough, done with footwork. So don't think, get in, punch as many times as I can. Not only will my footwork allow me to dictate where he goes, but it will allow me to get used to where he goes. Now we're back to 7, watching for patterns. For number 9, it's if you're in ranked or at a custom match and you don't really know how this person is, and maybe you want to test the waters at the beginning, have a very tight defense and learn to counter fight. So you can sit here, and if you ever, like, man, no one's biting, no one's throwing the first punch, I want to counter, he wants to counter, now it's a staring contest. A small drop in level or a small feint of anything, even if it's footwork, we'll typically get a little bit of a life go. So if I'm here and the match just started, I want to feel my opponent out. Okay, I can either feint with the whole body motion is going forward. That could be a jab, that could be a cross, that could be a goddamn front kick. But you know my point, right? If he's not throwing, I'm not throwing, and I want to counter, and he wants to counter, maybe I pump like a jab, or maybe I get aggressive with some footwork, and he feels that pressure, and it forces him to throw. Which maybe if I go here and I go aggressive footwork, I step in, and then he throws, and I have my high guard up because I'm expecting it. So I go bop, 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 he catches, cool. Now I know. Number 7, watch for a pattern. I come in, boom, 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 counter up to it. I know he's throwing when I get aggressive, counter off with his counter with the high guard protecting. Once he's done with his pop, pop, then I go pop, pop, pop on my own. Number 10, we made it this far. If you made it this far and you can hear me, see me, comment, let me know. Hey Dave, I made it to round 10, or, because we're not fighting. I made it to tip 10, or number 10, whatever. And just let me know, like, if you're watching these videos, it's nice. I've seen the YouTube growth, and TikTok has blown up in the last few days. The TikTok has grown more in the last 48 hours than it did in the first 2 months. So that's awesome news. So if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, I want to know who's viewing these videos, and if you're finding any information that's valuable, obviously. And if you feel like I haven't covered something and you're like waiting on it, give me all the information. But number 10 is this game will 100% teach you boxing, get you better at boxing. It'll fine-tune your boxing, it'll fine-tune your cardio, which will, affect all the other things I just labeled, if you let it. If you let the game steer you in the direction where maybe my ego is a little too big and I need to win more than I need to get better, then you may find yourself developing bad habits. And if we know anything, or if I personally know, because of what I've seen with my own eyes, that the goal is to make this game realistic. And if there's a bunch of people looking for quick solutions with things that are going to be patched eventually, they're going to be so behind with all these weeks and all these months of not working on the foundation. So number 10, the most important one, save it for last. This game will make you worse if you let it. The game will make you better if you let it. Find good training partners. Treat it seriously. I know it's a game, but treating it so serious. Yes, 100% it is. So serious. I love to be in shape. I love the fitness. I love the community. I love it all. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for the cause. And if you are too, make sure to subscribe. If you enjoy these videos, thank you for sticking around this long. For real, thank you. Check out these other 2 videos and subscribe right here because we made it.